Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm here with a different video. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to service up your MacBook Pro 13-inch. This is a 2012 model, and it's overheating and it kind of shuts down when it overheats. So we're going to open it up, tear it down, and repaste and clean up the fan and see if there's anything wrong with it inside. Alright, first thing first, you need to flip it over, and next you need to get the iFixit tool set. I really recommend this one if you do lots of servicing. We're gonna need few bits. We need let's get this one over here. Yep, we're gonna be using few of these ones. I like this one because it has a magnet case. You can actually detach and move it around. It comes with the opening tools. I'll leave the link in the description. They're really handy to have one. Alright, first thing first, we want to remove all the screws at the bottom cover. So starting at the back, there are 3 long screws, 2 in the mid back, I believe 1 in the corner. Yep, they are the same size, and the rest are small screws. This one is a model A1278. The serial number is C1MNQEY3DTY3. You can do a lookup on that to see exact model number. Alright, once we remove the screw, and then it comes up really easy. Just at the back, put your fingers right there and just lift it up. And pretty much that's it. Alright, down here we have the hard drive in one corner. We're not going to remove the hard drive. First thing first, we want to remove the battery. To remove the battery, you want to put your fingers right at the bottom of the jack, and you want to lift it towards the ceiling. Just like that. They have some standing up pins, so we release that. Let's go ahead and remove the battery. There's 2 screws. These are not flip head screws, they are different type. They're kind of triangle. I really don't know what you call those. I believe this one over here. So we're gonna remove this. And now you can lift up the battery easily and just slide it out. That's your battery if you want to remove it. Alright, we're gonna start disconnecting the cables right now. We're gonna just lift up the flex cable for the hard drive, DVD ROM, Wi-Fi connectors, and the trackpad right there. Next, you want to use your opening tool. So I'm going to grab this one over here. It's easier than fingernail. You want to remove the flex cable for the keyboard. To remove it, all you need to do, lift up this lock right at back, 90 degrees. My video recording just crashed, so yeah. So what you want to do, you want to remove the flex cable, just pull it out. Be gentle with it. The plastic is really dry, so it might crack. And then do the same thing with the backlight. Unhook the cable. Remove the LED indicators on this side. We're going to remove the flex cable for the screen just by lifting up this bracket, and then pull it straight towards the corner. Don't pull it out. And back here we're going to remove the speakers cable for this side. Just lift up the jack and pull out this jack towards the DVD ROM. This is for webcam. Now we're going to remove the fan by removing 3 screws. Alright, just lift up the fan from there. And the connector for the fan, just lift it towards the ceiling. Next, we want to remove all the screws on the motherboard. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the riser, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I start in one corner. Remove the riser. Remove the 2 screws for the power jack. And we can go ahead and lift up the motherboard gently. Loosen up this hinge right there. You have to make sure it's, as you lift it up, make sure you just don't pull it too hard. You have to release this corner. Just in 45-degree angle, pull it out. And back here, there's a cable going underneath. That's the speaker cable. So lift it up a little bit and pull it in 45-degree angle. And on top here, there's some tape, so remove the tape. Unhook the jack for the speaker. The other one. And this is speaker, it has a double-sided tape, so just lift it up. And untangle the cables, and that's it. So this is your underneath your motherboard. So we're gonna clean up all the dust, everything. We're gonna remove the heatsink. To remove the heatsink, you need 3 screws to remove. There's your 3 screws. And there we have it. So this thermal paste is very liquid, but when the thermal paste goes bad, it turns to liquid. So we're gonna clean up the thermal paste using a working towel and alcohol. You're gonna use a 100% alcohol. You're gonna clean up the heatsink. Remember these springs here, they can come out, so be careful with this spring, don't lose them. So remove those springs. Make sure it's really nice and clean. Clean the CPU. Be gentle with the capacitors on top. I'm not putting any force on it, just gently. There we go. Now that's the CPU cleaned out. Now I'm gonna use a toothbrush, an old or new or whatever toothbrush you like. I have no idea where mine went. There it is. And we're gonna just clean up the motherboard and the PCS chip and everything else, and I'll be back right after this. You're gonna grab your thermal paste. I'm using a MX4 Arctic MX4. You wanna apply a little bit in the middle or just do a tiny line on the CPU. There's the line. And you wanna put your heatsink flat on top, and you're not gonna lift it up after once you put it in. So before we put it in, let's put the springs right in here. There we have it. I'm gonna hold it in place. While I'm pressing here slowly, I'm gonna screw the other side. Not too hard, just reach it and that's it. Once we have all the screws in, and do a second pass and tighten the screws. There we go. Now the heatsink is nicely in place. So what we're gonna do right now, Again, we're gonna put it in this position. We're gonna grab the speakers right there, put it in place. If the cable don't reach right here, you have to lift it in a 45-degree angle and gently pull on the jack slowly so the cables actually reach. Once they reach, just plug it in. No need to put these tapes on because they're not sticky anymore, so don't worry about that. Run the cable for the power jack. There we go. Now we're gonna hold all this flex cable with one hand and place down. Make sure there's one flex cable here. You have to push this one underneath this place right there. There we go. Now everything is in place. Clean up we're gonna clean up this contact right here. This is what I don't like about the Mac. They have this magnet contact, and this magnet thing is really bad because the copper that they use in there, it gets oxidized, and the contact between this one and the charger, and they don't do a good contact, so they start heating up because of the resistance that it does. So that's why it turns black, and it can cause many issues. So that's a really bad idea. Anyway, now that we have that one in there, we're gonna put the 2 screws for the power jack. That's a torque 6. Once we have that one in there, I'm gonna go ahead and slide down the flex cable. Easily just hold it with 2 fingers, put it right underneath evenly, and then push it towards the motherboard. Make sure the contact is all the way in, and then put the lock right over. Now we're gonna grab the fan, place the fan right in there, plug the cable, and we're gonna go ahead and put the screws for the motherboard. Grab the riser in here, place that one in there. Put the rest of the screws in place. Don't tighten up the screws at first, because you might have to wiggle around the motherboard a little bit. Alright, starting from here, we're gonna put the LED cables for the battery indicator right there. And we're gonna grab the backlight cable and we're gonna push it right under the jack. It's kind of frustrating putting this ones in. Make sure it's all the way in and close the lock. Same thing with the flex cable for the keyboard. I have the camera in front, I can see. You don't have much space here, so you have to improvise. The flex cable for the keyboard is the hardest one to put in, so be very patient with it. There we go. Once you think it's all the way in, you can close the lock, and that's it. Now we're gonna continue with the trackpad. Just put down the hard drive, the lector, and we're gonna put the fan cable right there first. Put the jack for the webcam, slide it in. Put the 3 screws for the fan. The long one goes right at the top. Alright, now put this other flex cable right in place. Now we have all the flex cable in there. And this one's for the battery. We're gonna grab the battery, slide down the bottom. So when you have the battery, slide down this side first. Put it down. You see these things happen. The corners they break, that's normal. You can use a tiny super glue to put it back together. Otherwise, if you don't have it, just rip it apart. Don't leave it there because otherwise it's gonna get inside the fan, it's gonna hold the fan. The screw is just there to hold it a little bit in place. The bottom cover does the rest of the job, so don't worry about it. Even in this one, it's broken too. This is very normal on the old Macs because of the time that passes. I'll put a screw so it prevents it from sliding. Don't tighten up too much. Now we have that in all those in place. We're gonna plug in the the battery, and we're gonna power it on to see if it powers on. We're gonna DVD, and everything is working. Alright, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab the bottom cover, clean it up, and put it in place, and put the rest of the screws right in there. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys liked it, click that thumbs up on it. If you have any question, request, just ask in the comment area. I'm just gonna finish putting this one in, and we should be done. Remember the 3 longest screws go at the back, and the rest are the short one. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.